So how exactly does rebranding drive business growth? Companies that take branding seriously don't just protect their existing equity. They accelerate market adoption, increase sales velocity, and enhance valuation. A successful rebrand secures stakeholder confidence by maintaining trust in the company's vision. This enables faster decisions, smoother execution, and sustained business momentum. Let me tell you a story about a CEO that really wasn't interested in rebranding at all. There wasn't any significant challenge except for the fact that they wanted to really grow market share. And so I think that the CEO was like, well, you guys can do this, sure, sounds great. And so we would go and present all these concepts, and it was interesting because they were scientists. So I totally understand that this wasn't something they were focused on. They weren't really into marketing. They didn't really understand what the concept of brand was. And I was always, we were using our framework and taking them through the process. They loved the clarity that it brought, and they loved the framework. But I still think the work they were doing, they weren't quite getting the importance until one year, after the second rebrand that we had done for them, they went to a show. And it was a trade show they had gone to every single year. They were presenting a bunch of posters, they were doing a bunch of talks, and there wasn't any difference in the talks they had. They didn't do any more talks, they didn't have any more posters. But when we did the second rebrand, we also redid all their PowerPoints and redid all their posters. Everyone was coming up to them at the show like, oh, you guys are everywhere, look at this. And they were like, oh, now we get what you're saying. We understand, because everyone's reaction to having everything that was cohesive and everything that was, had an identity, and it was a stronger identity, and they understood their market position. That was reflected in everything they were saying. And by the way, they didn't have the opportunity to resell their company. In the end, their exit was selling to a Fortune 25. So in the end, it was a great investment. This reminds me of something that Max Dupree said. He was the CEO of Herman Miller. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are.